I'm Supreetha. Welcome to my math class. So in the previous lectures on Laplace transform, we studied some basic formulas on Laplace transform. We solved some problems. We studied the three properties, and then we studied about periodic function. And in the last video, we studied something about Laplace transform of Heaviside function, or we also call it as unit step function. Okay, we saw these first two properties. Yes, mostly we solved problems on this property. Okay, so now we have two more properties. Let me write down a problem first and use these two properties. Okay, say we have f of t is equal to, suppose you get a question, say find the Laplace transform of f of t is equal to 2t, where 0 is less than t less than pi, and 1 when t is greater than pi. Now compare this function with these two properties. Clearly it is in the form of third property. Okay, when you have it in the form of third property, what is the first step they have given us? We would have to write first this formula. Yes, what is that formula? It says that f of t is equal to f1 of t plus f2 of t minus f1 of t into u of t minus a. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just write down the formula first. Yes, and then what I'll do, I'll just substitute. Okay, what do I have in place of f1 of t? I have 2t. Clearly I have in place of f1 of t, I have 2t. So what I'll do, I'll substitute that plus f2 of t is 1, f1 of t is 2t. What do we have in place of a? Observe the property. Yes, we have t is less than or equal to a and t is greater than a, right? So in the question, for f1 of t, we have t is less than pi. For f2 of t, we have t is greater than pi. Okay, so what is the value of a? The value of a is, that is in place of a I have here pi. So the value of a is pi. Okay, so what should I write here? U of t minus pi. Okay, so we now know what is f of t. What is the next step? I would have to find Laplace of f of t. Yes, Laplace of f of t. That is Laplace of this whole function. Can I write this as Laplace of 2t plus Laplace of 1 minus 2t into ut minus pi. Okay, for the first term, I can apply the direct formula, direct Laplace transform formula. But for the second term, see, you observe this is in the form of second property. Yes, it is in the form of second property. So I would have to apply second property. Okay, what I'll do, 2 is a constant, I'll take it out. Laplace of t plus Laplace of 1 minus 2t into u of t minus pi. Okay, so let me write this Laplace of 2t. Let me take only this part, find the Laplace and then substitute. So yes, Laplace of 1 minus 2t into u of t minus pi. What do you have in place of a here? In place of a, I have pi. So what is the formula? That was e power as, right? Observe, what was it? E power minus as. So what I'll do, in place of a, I'll substitute. First let me write on the formula, that would be simpler. F of s, this is equal to e power minus pi s f of s. Okay, what do I have in place of f of t minus a? In place of f of t minus pi, I have 1 minus 2t. Yes, now how would I find f of t? to find f of t, I would have to do t plus pi minus pi. That is, wherever I have t, I would replace it with t plus pi. Okay, pi gets cancelled. This is our f of t. This is equal to 1 minus 2t minus 2 pi. Okay, so let me write down the constants. 1 minus 2 pi minus 2t. Now what is the Laplace of f of t? Why are we finding Laplace of f of t? Here I have to substitute f of s. That is why. Okay. So what is that Laplace? That is 1 divided by s minus 2 pi divided by s minus 2 into what is t power 1 formula? That is 1 factorial divided by s to the power 1 plus 1. 1 factorial is 1 itself. So what is this? This is our f of s. Okay. This is our f of s. Yes. Now what would happen? Let me substitute here. I would get e power minus pi s into, I'm substituting this term, that is our f of s, that is 1 by s minus 2 pi by s minus 2 divided by s square. So now what is the next step? Let me substitute our Laplace of 1 minus t over here. Okay, so what would I get? This is what I have, right? E power 2 Laplace of t. I haven't found the Laplace of t yet. In place of Laplace of 1 minus 2t, I have substituted this, that is e to the power minus pi into 1 by s minus the whole thing, whatever we found. Okay, what is Laplace of 1 by t now? What is Laplace of t? Laplace of t is 1 divided by s to the power 1 plus 1, that is square. Okay. So yes, that is our Laplace transform using Heaviside function. This is our final answer for this question. Okay. So moving on to our next question, that is, find the Laplace transform of f of t is equal to the given question. Okay, so clearly we have f1 of t, f2 of t. We have two functions, that is our third property. Okay, so what is the formula first? F of t is equal to, yes, f1 of t plus f2 of t minus f1 of t. Okay, this whole thing into u of t minus a. Okay, so what do we have in place of a? First, let me substitute f1 of t. Okay, what is f1 of t? f1 of t is sine 2t. f2 of t is 0 minus f1 of t is sine 2t into u of t minus, in place of a I have what? Pi. Okay, so what would I get? Sine 2t minus sine 2t u of t minus pi. What is this? This is our f of t. Okay, now what is our Laplace of f of t? Laplace of f of t would be Laplace of sine 2t minus Laplace of sine 2t u of t minus pi. Okay, for the first term, what is Laplace of sine 2t? It is 2 divided by s square plus 4 minus, what is this? Laplace of, how do we solve this? We solve this using the second property. What is second property? What is the first step? First write down what is f of, yes, f of t minus a. In place of a I have pi. What is f of t minus a? F of t minus pi is, clearly it is sine 2t. Okay, now if f of t minus pi is equal to sine 2t, what is t? I'll replace t with t plus pi minus pi is equal to sine 2 of t plus pi. Okay, pi and pi gets cancelled. So let me multiply this 2. I'll get 2 pi, 2t plus pi or 2 pi plus 2t, right? What is sine of 2 pi plus theta or 360 plus theta? It is sine theta itself, right? So I would write as sine 2t. What is this? This is our f of t. Okay, now what is our f of s? If f of t is sine 2t, f of s would be 2 divided by s square plus 4. Okay, what should I substitute here? What is the formula? The formula was e to the power. Okay, let me go back. The formula was e to the power minus s into capital F of s. Okay, what is that? E to the power minus pi s, right? E to the power minus pi into s, whole thing into 2 divided by s square plus 4. Okay, this is our Laplace of the given function. Okay, moving on to our next problem, that is, so yes, f of t is equal to t square 4t and the limits. Okay, clearly we have f1 and f2. Let me write down the formula. F of t is equal to f1 of t plus f2 of t minus f1 of t, okay, into u of t minus a. What do you have in place of a? We have 2. Okay, let me substitute. f1 of t is t square, f2 of t is 4t minus t square into u of t minus 2. Okay, now this is our f of t. What is the next step? The next step is find Laplace of f of t. How would you find that? I would get Laplace of t square plus Laplace of 4t minus t square into u of t minus 2. Okay, what is Laplace of t square? What is the formula? It is n factorial, that is 2 factorial divided by s to the power 2 plus 1 or s cube plus, what do we have here? 4t minus t square into u of t minus 2, correct? So what would that be? Which formula or which property would you apply? Second property, right? What was that? First, identify what is in the place of f of t minus a. What do you have in place of f of t minus a? I have, yes, in place of a I have pi, right, in this question? No, that is 2, correct? In place of a, I have 2. F of t minus 2 is equal to 4t minus t square. Okay, so I would replace t with t plus 2. To get f of t, I would get 4 into t plus 2 minus t plus 2 the whole square. This is equal to 4t plus 4 2s are 8 minus a square, right? T square minus b square minus 4t. Okay, this is a square. It's basically a square plus b square plus 2ab. If you multiply this negative sign, you get all the terms in negative. Okay, now what is the next step? I know what is f of t. The next step is, tell me what is f of s. That is, find the Laplace transform of f of t. What will we get? We'll get 4 t to the power 1, right? So 1 factorial divided by s square plus 8 divided by s minus 2 factorial, that is 2 divided by s cube minus 4 divided by s minus 4 divided by s square. Yeah, 4 divided by s square minus 4 divided by s square gets cancelled. In the previous step only we could have cancelled. Okay, what else are we left with? Here 8 minus 4 is what? 4 divided by s. 4 divided by s minus 2 divided by s cube. This is our f of s. Okay, what is the next step? The final step. Substitute the formula. What was the formula for Laplace of f of t minus a into u of t minus a? That is e to the power minus as, that is minus 2s into f of s. What did we get f of s as? 4 divided by s minus 2 divided by s cube. Okay. So yes, this is our final answer. That is the Laplace transform of f of t using Heaviside function. Okay. Moving on to our next problem, that is the fourth one. The question goes something like, fourth one, find the Laplace transform of f of t is equal to sin t cos t. Okay, for sin t the limits are 0 less than t less than or equal to pi by 2, and for cos t it is t greater than pi by 2. Okay, let me apply the formula, that is f of t is equal to f1 of t plus f2 of t minus f1 of t. Okay, this whole thing into u of t minus a. What do you have in place of f1 of t? I have sin t plus, in place of f2 of t I have what? Sin, okay, cos t, right? Cos t minus sin t. Okay, into u of t minus, in place of a I have what? I have pi by 2. Okay, so let me write it as pi by 2. Yes, now what should I do? Apply Laplace transform for f of t. Okay, Laplace transform of f of t. That would be Laplace transform of sin t plus Laplace transform of cos t minus sin t. Okay, cos t minus sin t into u of t minus pi by 2. Okay, what is Laplace of sin t? That is 1 divided by s square plus 1. Okay, for the second term, I would have to apply the second property. What should I do for that? First, identify. What do we identify? What is f of t minus a? In place of a, I have pi by 2. So this is equal to cos t minus sin t. I'll replace t with what? T plus pi by 2, right? So I would get t. Here I would have to write cos of t plus pi by 2, or pi by 2 plus t minus sine of pi by 2 plus t. What is sine of 90 plus theta? Cos of 90 plus theta? Yes, clearly if this is 90 degree, if you keep a protractor, all the values above 90 would come in the second quadrant. Agree? So here I would get 90 plus theta values. Okay, you should know for 90 and 270, sine will change to cos, cos will change to sine, and all those things. Yes? And in the second quadrant, is cos positive? How do you check that? We use A, S, T, C rule. Here only sine is positive. That is, only sine of 90 plus theta is positive. So I would get here minus sine t minus cos t. Now what is Laplace of this? That is f of s would be negative 1 divided by s square plus 1 minus s divided by s square plus 1. Let me substitute that over here. What would I get? Yes. Let me move this a little bit. Okay. Yes, what would I get here? I would get e to the power minus as, so that would be minus pi by 2s into minus 1 divided by s squared plus 1 minus s divided by s squared plus 1. This is our final answer. Okay, so if they ask you find the Laplace transform of the function using unit step function or the Heaviside function, what is the first step? You would have to first identify the question. You should identify which of these 4 properties would you have to use. Okay, and then what? The second property, we already solved it in the last class. And the second property is very important. Why? It comes even in the third and fourth property. Okay, the same method follows in third and fourth property. Okay, so how do we solve this third property? We first have a formula for f of t. We would write the given function in that formula and then apply Laplace. Yes, in which the first term was direct Laplace, right? The second term, whatever we got, we had to apply the second property for that. Yes, and then after solving, we arrived at the answer. So yes, using the second property, we solved it. Okay, we solved the second term and then we arrived at the final answer. Okay, so yes, that is it for today's class. Thank you.